Hey folks, Lemonade here, and today we got a mouse I wasn't going to review until later, but Pulsar had to drop this absolutely stunning colorway on their collab with Rotobox, so I picked it up. And let's find out why I'm a little pissed I didn't pick this up sooner, and why I wanted to wait in the first place anyway, right after this. Just wanted to come in here real quick and say happy holidays and happy new year to all the peripheral nerds and the gamers who have subbed to the channel and liked all the videos and watched all the videos. You guys have been phenomenal in your support, and I really do appreciate it. Thanks. Okay folks, as we normally do, let's get the specs out of the way. I'll put them up here in the corner for your viewing pleasure. So yeah, I was holding off reviewing this mouse because of something coming soon, and you can hear a little further explanation at the end of this video, so stay tuned. But I still had to cave in and buy this colorway. It just has this retro, old school PlayStation vibe to it. It just kind of tickled all the nostalgia in me. But I'm really glad I did get to try this before the end of 2022. That said, this particular collab is sold out, but you can find the standard colors listed on their main website, Max Gaming in Europe, Lethal Gaming Gear in the US, and Rotobox in the Philippines. So yeah, if anyone isn't aware, Rotobox is actually a gaming peripheral distributor for the Philippines. So we're going to get into the packaging super quick because it has some nice stuff in it. The box itself is in this kind of signature gray color with the Rotobox logo and the script all over. I think this says Rotobox in Korean according to my Google Translate. Not sure. Just let me know in the comments if I'm wrong about that. And the inside is a bit more standard, but we do have some goodies. So let's take a look. So first off, the USB receiver and adapter and the cable are all color matched, which is great to see. Glorious got lazy on their Model O Pro release and just had a black cable, which was pretty lame. The USB adapter here says Pulsar, and it has that Rotobox script on the receiver itself. Again, just lovely attention to detail. We also have the quick start guide here, this neat branded sticker, and lastly, as you saw in the thumbnail probably, a trading card. Yeah, they included a sleeve trading card that has some of the specs of the device, multiple angles of the X2, the branding of course, and the 1 of 1,000 marker right there on it. So very cool to be part of this limited run. The little card is a great value in my opinion to this whole experience, and I really applaud Pulsar for doing this. A lucky few even have the chance of getting a holographic version of the card, specifically 99 of the 1,000. So for fans like us, this just makes collecting these products a bit more fun. Wanted to add here, I really do like this way of doing limited releases versus the model finalmouse takes. Pulsar keeps the different standard colors always in stock and then runs these special editions that allow enthusiasts to hunt for those and grow their collection. Hopefully we see finalmouse take a similar approach in the near future. Alright folks, so let's take a closer look at the mouse itself. Of course we have USB-C for charging. The scroll wheel steps are nicely defined and the texture is a soft rubber. It's not too tall either. The click is very satisfying and reassuring, light to actuate, and plus it's blue. How can you hate that? Side buttons have this cool two-tone design, very easy to distinguish, but I would have liked to see a gloss coating like we saw on the Sora. That said, it has much tighter pre and post travel, so overall it's just more satisfying to use than what we saw on the Sora. Skate design has this hybrid look, kind of similar to the GPX, but just a smaller top skate. Of course, there's no puck either, so this does lean a little bit faster in comparison, which I do enjoy. The overall quality of the skates is fine enough, but I did order Corepad Air just because I prefer them more than stock. Also, again, I love when companies do this, putting these little notches on the skates for easy removal. We also have an LED indicator right here next to the side buttons, which is honestly in a great spot. If it's on the top, you're going to be blocking it usually with your hand, and if it's on the bottom, you're pretty much never going to see it, so nice placement. Also, just wanted to take a moment here to appreciate the bottom of this mouse. It's an area you hardly look at, but again, this is just a great attention to detail from Pulsar. You can see this is where you find the number of the 1,000 that you received. So for me, it's 461. Of course, you have the Rotobox logo, the X pattern alluding to, of course, the name of the mouse here, and this amazing red PCB. And just look, all these small details, the X2 logo, the size of the mouse, specs, this Korean script over here that says wireless, because of course they are a Korean company. Anyway, I know a lot of people are like, whatever, Lemonade, it's small details, but stuff like this matters. This kind of stuff shows me that a company cares about minor details, they care about their brand, and ultimately the quality of their products. And we should applaud them for taking the time to do things like this. Now, the coating of the mouse might be actually one of my favorites. It has a really nice satin finish to it, almost silky to the touch. Don't get me wrong, it's still plastic, and it doesn't have that grittiness like the Razer mice have, but it's very satisfying. Not sure if the other colors have this same finish, but the gray is great. Overall build quality, I'm going to keep it simple here. It's freaking amazing. There's just absolutely no creaking, flex, or rattle. The structure feels super solid, and for 52 grams, it's lovely. Great weight balancing as well. Okay, onto the sensor. As we saw earlier, it's the 3395. The implementation has been great, zero issues on my end. Now, this mouse does have the ability to disable motion sync in the software, and that was a first for me to try it out. And honestly, I couldn't tell. I mean, I guess there's like a 1 millisecond or less latency difference with it off. Then if you keep it on, the smoothness of the motion sync negates some of that for some people. Look, I don't know. If you want it on or off, it's not a night and day thing, so don't worry about it too much. Pick what feels best to your gut. Okay, so now we got to talk about switches, and this is a bit of a sticky point, unfortunately. So on the batch 1 release, there was a lot of reports of double clicking and squeaky clicks. For reference, these use KL 8.0s, and Pulsar did say that these issues have been resolved on later batches, and I have seen less reports of it in general, especially on these newer colorways. I don't know, for me, over the week plus, I've used this across various different games. I even did double clicking tests before and after my testing. I have zero issues to report, and it felt great in game. I will say other mice have double click problems as well, even the GPX, for example. So it's just something to keep an eye out for. This isn't a uniquely Pulsar issue. That said, it seems like KLs are just harder to implement properly. finalmouse did mention on their Discord that they went back to Omrons for this very reason. Just a quick note on the software. Very nice UI, simple enough to understand. You can change the liftoff distance by 1 or 2 millimeters. Debounce can go as low as 0 milliseconds. As a battery percentage indicator, you can reduce your DPI setting choices down to 1 instead of having all 4 active. You can disable buttons, of course, turn off motion sync like I mentioned, and also capture macros. Okay, so for the shape. Before we start, I just want to say in my Ninjutsu Sora video, I did a full breakdown of the Sora versus the Atlantis using a digital caliper like this one here. You can see the video up over here if you want. But as I said in the same video, I won't be doing that for every review. Really, it just boils down to if a mouse feels particularly strange for my grip, I'll bust the thing out, but otherwise it's not worth digging into the fine details. For example, I wish I had this digital caliper when I reviewed the Xtrify M8 because of its incredibly new shape, and some of the design choices did throw me off. So onto the shape. For reference, as always, my hands are 19.5 by 10 centimeters. I am a wrist aimer using a fingertip grip, high sense. And the TLDR it's nearly perfect for fingertip grip, minus a few things which we will get into. First, let's get into what makes it better than the Sora in pretty much every way for fingertip grip. It's shorter in general by 4 or 5 millimeters in comparison, and while the hump placement is in a similar spot, the drop off is sharper So there's of course less palm contact on the X2 Mini. Then for the side buttons, they are just in a more optimal spot where you can kind of get in between them evenly while still keeping a solid range of motion and avoiding any under palm contact. And lastly, the taper from its flare points is just very subtle, almost flat. So it does allow for wider placement options for your fingers versus what we saw on the Sora. Now it is a touch too flat for my taste. While there is a little more general curvature around the side area versus the Xtrfy M8, for example, I wish we had a narrow grip width area so that your fingers had a more secure lock-in point, similar to what we see on the Model O minus. Or on the flip side, if they didn't want to go that route, I would also like to see an option maybe where they included a deeper thumb groove like we see on the Orochi. Now, even though I was saying that this is kind of flat like the Xtrfy M8, there are some nice advantages here which makes it feel more secure, like the comfort grooves on mouse 1 and 2, the flatter non-curved profile of the clicks themselves, and the overall surface coating being better in my opinion. Beyond that fix, I'd love to see Pulsar taper the front of the mouse a bit more aggressively. I much prefer a thinner pencil-like feel, something that makes me enjoy the Prime Mini so much. Okay, but what about other grip styles? Well, unless you have particularly small hands, this won't work so well for palm grip. And while it's designed for claw, I'd advise just going for the larger X2 or even the Lamzu Atlantis if you want a claw mouse. So, overall thoughts. Y'all know my favorite mouse I tested this year, and the one I crowned for 2022 was the Prime Mini for its amazing shape and stupidly good price at $45. But if I could only pick a mouse specifically made in 2022, then this would take that crown. The hype is real on this. Pulsar continues to bring us innovative products, solid build quality, interesting colorways and collabs, and at prices that are way more than fair for everything that you're getting, even on limited edition releases like this. By the way, the reason I wanted to wait to review this was because, well, Pulsar is releasing something super special very soon, a collab, a yellow one, and small spoiler alert, Pulsar let me know they're sending it my way. Keep an eye out on socials for that. And on that note, of course, all my socials are down below, along with any affiliate links and discount codes. If you had a good time with me today, likes and subs are always appreciated. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts were. But until the next Fresh Squeeze video, stay thirsty, folks.